Thank you very much, Heno. That was great, and I know that you can't wait for us to get our demo model to test a lot of these theories and build up our own case studies for us to share with our clients. In the chat,
Sure.
it's actually been a flood of questions. I found it's been quite fun. Time has passed quite quickly. So I'll try and answer a few of the questions that are unanswered. I see Grain and Tian, you're also helping me out over there. And I'll also address a few questions that came forth at the time of registration. Before I do that though, I'd like to just point your attention to that form or that link in the chat group that I've posted. And this is for you to register your interest should you want a follow-up call, a quotation, or any more information on the ZenMuse P1. So I'm going to quickly post it again so that it's current. There you go. And then we can continue. So looking at questions on the time of presentation, one of the questions, I'll just go top to bottom, and I'm sorry, a few of the questions didn't relate to this webinar. Some asked about Revo and so forth, so I'm going to keep the questions to the relevant ones. The first one was by Solomon, and he asked what data processing software is available. And Heno, if you could take that on, please.
Sure, Stefan. So I would really recommend DJI Terra, as it is written and optimized specifically for the enterprise level of drones, even from the Phantom 4 all the way up to the M300. So DJI Terra is the same aerial photogrammetry principle programming processing software, such as others that you've heard in the field as well, like Pix4D Mapper and Agisoft and so forth. But in order for everything to work smoothly and that you don't have to put in too many different settings and parameters, I would suggest DJI Terra, definitely to be used with the P1.
That's excellent. Thank you, Heno. Tianyu, Grain, could you guys confirm if Pix4D will handle the processing? So obviously we're going to recommend DJI Terra because of the smooth workflows. But if a customer has the raw images, could it be processed in Pix4D?
It can also be processed by Pix4D and also Agisoft and other third-party software. But as Heno said, that is not suggested. We just recommended using DJI Terra software because based on the Terra software, we can also use the calibration files of the camera. That would be more accurate.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. The next question relates to, and this was from, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Gratin. He asked about the different domains of utilization of drones in the mining sector. And that really depends. I believe it can be used in all the different sectors, from exploration to monitoring to safety to security to surveying. I think we can find a use for drones in all of the major sectors in mining, and to volumetrics and so forth. Another question was about ground control points, the use and of base stations. I think Heno covered that very nicely. Another question was, and this will buy me some time for the next question, but Tianyu, Grain, I'm going to pass this to you just to give a customer some hope. They're asking about the LiDAR payload availability. They also asked about pricing, but we're not going to answer that now. Just an idea of when the L1 would become available.
All right, Stefan. So pretty much we estimate around early May or, well, around early May that the L1 will be available.
That's very exciting. Thank you, Tianyu. And to everybody that have dialed in for the P1 webinar, you can be sure that we're going to have a dedicated L1 webinar closer to the time. All right, the next question was from Wayne, but I know all of you are thinking it, and the question was about pricing. So I have got pricing, a ballpark figure available, and bearing in mind, and sorry Angus, the P1 is not compatible with the Matrice 600. The P1 on its own is going for about 85,000 Rand excluding VAT, but you would need to pair it with the Matrice 300 RTK. So if you get a complete mapping bundle, which will include the drone, a DJI base station, the battery station, 8 batteries, the tripod, and everything else you need with the P1, you're looking at about 250,000 Rand excluding VAT. But bear in mind that we have got special programs for educational departments and non-profit organizations, and yeah, there normally is also benefits in buying multi-units. All right, the next question would be about proper ground filtering and classification. Henno, Grain, could you guys confirm whether there's any classification that happens in DJI Terra, or would it have to be done in a third-party app?
Stefan, I would believe you will be able to classify. We need to confirm with Tianyu maybe, or Grain. Are they Grain?
So guys, let's try to get a more accurate answer later on once we check internally,
Okay.
and then we can have a better reply. Sorry
No
about this.
problem.
Thanks, Grain.
But we do know that classification is also available in Pix4D, and should the point cloud that comes out of DJI Terra be used in your survey package, like Trimble Business Center that you would get from Optron, there is a stage of classification that happens there whereby it will take out the ground, trees, buildings, roads, and all sorts, and all those points will be put in individual layers.
So,
All
sorry,
right.
Stefan, because of the
Yes.
voice, it's not very good just now. So the customer want to know the classification feature of the Terra. Is that right?
That's
Currently,
correct.
Terra does not have the roadmap for this feature, for this classification feature. We just focus on how to reconstruct the image and get the oblique and the 3D model. For further processing, data processing, we don't have the roadmap.
No problem. That's perfect. Thank you very much. All right, guys, in terms of that link that I shared, I see there's been 2 submissions. I really hope that we'll have more than that, but it doesn't matter. We know where you live. We'll come and knock on your door. Let me scan through the questions on the chat group that are outstanding. Okay, Kabu asked how much it's going to cost for the drone and the P1. I think I answered that question, about 250,000 Rand excluding VAT. Can you install other third-party apps in the Matrice 300 RTK controller? And I do not think this is possible. Grain, you can confirm, and this is not necessarily recommended. I think the built-in apps are designed for the drone's safety and optimal use of the payloads. Grain, can you confirm that for us?
Excuse me, could you repeat again?
Sorry, Grain, we missed that message.
I think Grain's connection was some lag. Let me rephrase the question to Grain. So Grain,
Okay.
the question was for the RC, the remote controller on the Matrix 300, are there recommended third-party applications that the customers can install?
Yeah. Firstly, we don't recommend you install third-party application, but according to my personal test, it can be installed with third-party application. You can try by yourself, but it cannot officially recommended.
Yeah, and I agree with Grain there. We've also tried, but it certainly isn't recommended. You know, and I also don't actually see a need for it. With DJI Pilot, they really have taken care of everything you need to do for the purpose of mapping with a drone and the smart oblique capture and so forth. All right, the next question was by Ria, and he wants to know, has a M300 been registered with the SACAA? The answer is yes. There's type approval in place, and a few of our clients have already got it through the RLA process. Nduduzi asked if he needs a license to operate the drone. That depends on how fast your getaway car is. If you have a fast car, you don't need a license. But no, to be honest, and jokes aside, you do need a RPL pilot's license. But that's not the only thing. You also need to fly legally with a remote operator certificate. But you can reach out to us via email and we can lay out the steps that you need to fully comply. Can anybody see any questions that I've missed?
I think you've covered them all, Stefan. I've just gone through them. There's one.
Yeah, I think we've been good, and you guys will also receive a link to the recording. So we've come right up to 4 o'clock. I think it's been a great webinar. Thank you very much for your attendance and for taking time. And please do reach out to us if there are any more questions that you might have. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thanks so much. Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Cheers.